Hello, everyone. Today I'm going to talk to you about one of the most important topics of English grammar, that is tenses. So, generally, if we talk about tenses, they actually refer to time, not the time of the clock, but here we refer to the time of the era like present, past, and future, right? So, in these three types of tenses, like when we talk present, we can always say like today. Today is there for present. Yesterday for past means the time that is gone. And future, which is yet to come, like tomorrow. Right? So you can understand by the use of today, yesterday, and tomorrow what are present, past, and future time. Now, generally, when we talk about a sentence in English, that is always subject, verb, and then object. The formation is always like this: subject, then comes the verb, and then comes the object. Now, this topic of tenses is very much related to this topic of verb, actually, which is an important part of speech, and we have already discussed about it. So, verb tells us the action. Now, in a sentence, we come to know about two things about the action. Number one, of course, what the action is, that has to do with main verb, but at the same time we also come to know about its tense, right? And when we talk about the tense, there are two references that we give. One is about this present, past, and future, and another reference is about the action, tense of the action. Now, what reference is that? Let me talk in brief about that. The first is like indefinite. According to the action, uh, there are another types of tenses. That is, first is indefinite, which we often know as simple also. In this tense, we do not know about the completion of the action. Completion of the action is indefinite in a way. That is why it is also called indefinite or simple. Then another is continuous tense, which is also known as progressive. So as both the words suggest, continuous means in continuation, jo chal raha hai. Progressive it means which is in progress, of course. So here in this tense, the action is in process. When we are talking about present, it is in process, chal raha hai. जब हम पास्ट की बात करते हैं तो एक्शन चल रहा था, फ्यूचर की बात करेंगे तो चल रहा होगा. So in all three tenses of this type, we come to know that the action is in process or was in progress or will be in progress, right? Now the next is perfect, completed, over. From this tense we come to know about we come to know the about the action that is perfect, means completed, over. Action complete ho chuka hai, ya ho chuka tha, ya ho chuka hoga. And last but not the least is perfect continuous tense. Now please understand, it is a bit tricky one, but not so difficult, of course. Perfect is when the action is complete, continuous when it is going on. So, how is it that both of them are together? So, actually, in perfect continuous, we come to know that the action is in progress, but it is about to get completed. In such sentences, we are always given some kind of time reference, right? Like, for example, I have been waiting for him for 2 hours. मैं 2 घंटे से उसका इंतजार कर रहा हूं, यानी कि एक्शन अभी प्रोग्रेस में है, कंटिन्यूएशन में है, बट इट इज अबाउट टू एंड, right? So that is what is perfect continuous tense. Now in this reference you will be able to understand that when we have these three types of tenses, present, past, and future, in reference to the time, and these other four types of tenses in reference to the action, so in total they make 12 tenses. 12 tenses. Like for present we have simple present, present continuous, present perfect continuous, and the same we have for past and future too. So in total there are 12 tenses that we have. Now, I am going to talk in detail about one by one, about each of them. I will tell you how they are used, and at the same time, I will also tell you what is going to be the formation like, right? So, the first tense that I'm going to discuss today is present tense. Let us talk about present tense at first. And in the present tense, we'll be talking about simple present or present indefinite tense, as I have just explained you, right? So it is called present indefinite or simple because in this tense we do not know anything about the completion of the action in a way. So we can say, now let's talk about the uses. Uses means where this tense is used. First of all, this tense is always talk about the things in general, right? It talks about the things in general. Now, when we say the things in general, what do I mean by this? Wait, the things in general. Now, the things in general actually is like something not happening now, but about something happening all the time. Okay, so you can say like about something, the action happening all the time. ये ऐसा action की बात करता है जो हमेशा होता है, right? Like for example, if we say I play guitar, okay, I play guitar. Now this is something which happen all the time. It is not that I am playing guitar means I am doing it right now. No, I play guitar, I go to school, I work for living, whatever it is, right? So it talks about the things in general. Now the second use that we have is to express universal truths, right? To express universal truth or general truth. It can be scientific truth also, okay, to express universal truth. Now when we say universal truth, like for example, if we say the sun rises in the east, that is a universal truth. Water boils at 100% Celsius, that is a scientific truth. It doesn't rain much in Rajasthan, that is a permanent truth, general truth, right? So for truths, whether they are universal, scientific, for universal truths we always use simple present tense. Now, the next is sometimes we use it for proverbs also when they are of permanent truth. So, proverbs also, which have the force of permanent truth, they also use simple present. And yes, to express natural qualities or professional activities. That for that also we use, again, these are the things in general. Now, another use which I would like to refer here, which is very important, is like to refer to future also, right? Sometimes we use simple present to refer to a future event which has a fixed schedule, which has a fixed schedule. Please understand. Now, let me give you an example. For example, the prime minister arrives on Friday. So actually, this must be scheduled earlier. It has a fixed schedule. That is why for this we can use simple present, right? The doors open in 10 minutes. Classes end next week. Okay. So for this also, sometimes for future event also we use simple present. I hope the uses are clear. Now let me talk about the sentence formation. The basic formation which we use in simple present is first form of verb with s or es. It is optional. I am keeping it in bracket because it depends on the subject. If the subject is singular, we always put s or es with the verb. If the subject is plural, then we don't put, and then object, right? So let me take an example which I will be taking for all tenses so that it is easier for you to understand. For example, if I say he writes a letter, वो एक लेटर लिखता है, ठीक है? अगर यहाँ पर ही की जगह दे होता, तो here we will be writing they write a letter. Why? Because they is plural, right? Now for he writes a letter, if we have to make it negative, so this is affirmative sentence, right? If we have to make it negative, how are we going to make it? It is going to be he does not write a letter. He does not write a letter. And for the plural subject, it is going to be they do not write a letter. They do not write a letter, right? Now if we have to make a question, for forming a question, helping verb always comes before the subject, question or interrogative sentence. So it will also use this verb do, does, like does he write a letter? And if it is a negative question, doesn't he write a letter, right? Or, and if for the plural subject, it is going to be do they write a letter? Okay. Now, please understand, whenever we are making a question with question word, right? When does he write a letter? Huh? Why do they write a letter? Right? So the question word is just put before this. Otherwise, the formation is like this only. So I hope this simple tense is clear to you. Simple present tense. Now, let's talk about the second, that is present continuous. Second tense, which is present continuous or present progressive, whatever you call it. Okay. Now, as I told you, in these tenses, we come to know about an action or event happening at the time of speaking. Okay. So, if we talk about the uses, to express an action or event happening at the time of speaking, जब हम उसकी बात कर रहे हैं ना, वो action तब हो रहा है. All right. See, I am teaching you right now. So this is the action which is taking place. That is why I am using present continuous here, right? You are studying tenses. So this is an action taking place at this time. Okay. So this is there. Now another use, again, this tense is also used sometimes to refer to a future event is going to happen, right? To refer to a future event. Okay, now in what way? Like, we can always say classes are ending next week. The Prime Minister is arriving on Friday. So sometimes we can use a future event with a fixed schedule. We can use simple present, or we can also use present continuous for that, right? Now let's talk about its formation. Subject, of course, is there. Is, are, am. These are the helping verbs. Like in simple present, do, does were the helping verbs that we were using. Here is, are, am are used with ing form of verb and then object. Now please understand, is used with singular subjects, right? Are with plural subjects, and am is used with I only. Okay. Now, if I take that example only, for that it is going to be, he is writing a letter. It is affirmative. If we make it negative, he is not writing a letter. And if we have to make a question, it is going to be, is he writing a letter? Right? So I hope this present continuous is also clear to you. Now let's talk about present perfect. Now, present perfect, as I told you, perfect means when the action is completed, when the action is over, right? So, in present perfect, we always talk about, if we have to take if we have to see the uses, we always talk about this to describe an action, that began in the past, right? जो पहले शुरू हुआ था, and uh, took place in the current time, and took place in the current time, and that have been completed at the time of speaking, that have been completed at the time of speaking. Now please understand, Present perfect talks about those actions. It describes those actions that began in the past. Sorry, I is not here. हाँ, began in the past. जो past में शुरू हुए, current time में यानी present में चले and have been completed at the time of speaking. और जब हम उसकी बात कर रहे हैं ना, उस time पर वो complete हो चुके हैं. The action is over. See, for example, I have delivered the documents you needed. ठीक है, आई हैव डिलीवर्ड द डॉक्यूमेंट्स, मैंने डॉक्यूमेंट्स डिलीवर कर दिए हैं. तो वो एक्शन शुरू तो पहले हुआ होगा, आपने पहले किए होंगे, बट प्रेजेंट में इट टुक प्लेस एंड नाउ इट इज ओवर. एट द टाइम व्हेन यू आर स्पीकिंग अबाउट इट, इट इज ओवर. आई हैव ऑलरेडी डिस्कस्ड सिंपल प्रेजेंट टेंस विद यू. ठीक है, अब सी, द एक्शन इज कंप्लीटेड, दैट इज ओवर. इट बिगैन इन द, नॉट इन एक्सट्रीम पास्ट. Okay, it began in the past, of course, because that time is gone, but not in extreme past. कल की बात नहीं हो रही है यहाँ पे, because the action took place in the current time. But at the time when I'm speaking right now, it is over. That is why I am saying I have already discussed. I have discussed simple present tense with you, right? So this is how present tense is used. Now let's talk about the formation. We always use has or have in present tense and third form of verb. Please understand, has, have, and third form of verb. In all perfect tenses, there is going to be third form only, right? Now has is used with singular subject. Okay, with singular subject. Have is used with plural subject. And third form of verb is going to be there. Okay, now I'm taking the same example. For example, if we say he has written a letter, okay, then negative will be he has not written a letter. And the question is going to be, has he written a letter? Right? So this is how present perfect works. Now the next, the last but not the least is present perfect continuous tense. Present perfect continuous. Okay. Now please understand, present perfect continuous is used to stress the ongoing, nature of an action. ओके, किसी एक्शन का ऑन गोइंग नेचर है. लाइक फॉर एग्जाम्पल, अ condition or event that has begun in the past, that has begun in the past and continues into present, and continues into the present. ओके, यानी कि कोई ऐसा एक्शन जिसका ऑनगोइंग नेचर है, वो शुरू हुआ पास्ट में लेकिन अभी भी चल रहा है, एंड देयर इज ऑलवेज अ टाइम रेफरेंस गिवन टू इट, राइट? लाइक फॉर एग्जांपल, दैट डॉग हैज बीन बार्किंग फॉर 3 hours. ओके, सो दैट डॉग हैज बीन बार्किंग फॉर 3 hours. वो 3 घंटे से वो कुत्ता भौंक रहा है. तो इसका मतलब द एक्शन बिगैन इन द पास्ट, इट इज स्टिल कंटिन्यूड इन द प्रेजेंट. ओके, they have been publishing this newsletter for several years. I have been waiting for you to make up your mind, right? So, just to express the ongoing nature of an action, we use perfect continuous, right? Now, let's have a look at the formation. So when it is perfect, has or have to be there. And when it is continuous, ing form of verb will also be there. And to balance both of them, we'll have been. So it is always has been or have been that is used in present perfect continuous, right? Like for example, he has been writing a letter. Negative, he has not been writing a letter. And if the question has to be made, like, has he been writing a letter? All right. So This is all about present tense. And in this way, we have discussed all four types of present tense: simple present, present continuous, present perfect, and present perfect continuous.